All right. Our family loves burritos. It's our favorite meal, as a matter of fact. I would even go so far as to call it the perfect meal. And so if burritos are the perfect dinner, it stands to reason that breakfast burritos should be the perfect breakfast as well, right?
Right.
Right? No? Okay. Well, what's your favorite breakfast?
Waffles.
Okay. Well, you can't have waffles every day, but this makes a good, well-rounded, high-protein meal. So it's a good alternative or go-to breakfast if you know you're going to be on the move. So let's get started. First thing we do is we're gonna have some potatoes in here.
Potatoes?
Yeah, potatoes. I'm kind of modeling this a little bit after kind of like what I call the big box store burrito places. We're gonna put in some potatoes, and notice I do not peel these because I clean them and kind of scrub them good, and peeling them is just kind of a waste of time to me. Especially when the skins are so tasty.
And everybody's so hungry.
Yeah.
I'm
And
starving.
here is how you can cut these to make it really easy to dice. We're going to dice these. Whoop. Yeah, cut all the way through that one. It's kind of like...
I can't even see the cuts.
I know. It's kind of like how you would do with an onion, if you know that trick. So I cut them all this way. Now I'm going to rotate 90 degrees and do the same thing. Rotate, and as long as you don't cut in exactly the same place, this will work out. Okay, so what do I have here? I've got this sort of thing going on here. They're all basically diced. Now all you do is cut this way.
That does work out good.
Yep, it does. Just don't cut yourself.
Of course. Everybody knows that.
Well, it gets a little dicey when you get to the end here. So that's one. You really want to eat one?
Yeah, I'm gonna try one raw.
Okay.
Me too. Oh, those are crunchy. They taste okay, but I prefer them cooked. Me too.
Okay. I guess that's why I'm cooking them then. Flip it over. Just don't cut in the same spot where you already did.
That's a warning.
What we're gonna do is scrape all these up.
Hey, that's Mama's bowl.
Okay, that's Mama's bowl. Lucky, she was the lucky one.
Different colors mean different people's bowls.
And they're like using these bench scrapers that I first saw at a pizza place that I worked at. Super handy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to microwave these.
Microwave?
So I'm going to microwave these for about 3 minutes, maybe even 4 to soften them up. While that's microwaving, I turned on my cast iron pan, and then I'm going to dice some onions, basically the same method as I did with the... Just don't...
Cry.
I was going to say don't cut yourself, but...
I think I might be starting to get tears in my eyes.
Really? I guess maybe I'm immune to it because I don't get that too much.
Probably because you cut onions a lot.
Probably. Basically, they're for flavor, they're not for texture, so I'm going to super finely dice this. And these are just going to basically disappear into the taste. Butter this pan. This is putting it on medium-high.
Cast iron.
Maybe on 8. Here's the onions.
I like it. Why are you putting the onions on there to sizzle?
I want to get these all nice and caramelized and...
Caramelized? What does that mean?
It means the skin on them break down and they get kind of brown. And when they get all brown like that, that's
they
when...
They are looking brown.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the flavor comes in. And then I'm going to toss in the potatoes.
I love potatoes.
A little bit more butter here. Whoops. And we're just going to let this all brown.
All of it, even the potatoes?
Yeah, especially the potatoes.
Every time I have potatoes, they aren't brown that I know of.
Well, cooked and browned. To this, I'm also gonna sprinkle in some garlic salt.
I smell garlic all the way from here. I wish cameras could smell.
Some paprika. Whoop.
Ooh, that's a lot. Not some. Oh well, that means more taste, I suppose.
Some black pepper there.
Black pepper.
This is toasting quite nicely, and I'm gonna turn this down. You can see it's smoking. If it ever gets to be too much, where it's like too hot and stuff is burning, one thing you can do is remove it from the heat. Another thing you can do is just a little bit of water. That'll cool it down, but just keep things moving and then it won't burn. I'm also going to add a little bit of oregano. I don't really necessarily want the oregano to cook too much, so that's why I kind of add it at the end. Now I do kind of want a little bit more butter on these.
It's funny
potatoes.
how it just dissolves.
You can also just, probably the better way to do it is that way, but.
Butter and paprika and black pepper. You can get that black pepper at Trader Joe's. They come in those nice containers where you can just sprinkle out however much you want.
Now this is looking pretty good.
I thought you said it was brown. Those don't look brown.
You know what? I'm going to let that cook for a little bit longer. And one thing you can do is just kind of flatten it all out.
That way it's in there?
Yep. Let it cook for a minute. Now we'll flip them.
Ooh,
I'd say they're looking
brown.
pretty good. What you want to do is you wait until your grocery store has a good sale on meat and you stock up, and especially like steak or a roast or something like that, cook a little bit of extra, and when you're done with it, dice it up and dust it with some Mexican seasonings or taco seasoning or something like that, and then put it in one of these deli containers and stick it in the freezer. You can stick it in the front, you can stick it in the back, doesn't matter, wherever it fits. And then the day before you want to have breakfast burritos, take it out and put it in the refrigerator to thaw overnight. Or of course you can just thaw it in the microwave. But
yeah, that's probably easier.
What we're going to do now is we're going to stick the meat in there.
Does that meat raw or cooked?
This is cooked, so this is all cooked meat. I should have said that. I guess it kind of looks. I figured you could tell that it was cooked, but yeah, it's cooked already. And then after you cook it, you dice it up. Turn down the heat if you need to. Now for the eggs.
Hey, two eyeballs. And the head and the bottom of the bowl. Eyeballs. I think I see some eggshells.
Now I'm going to add about an egg per person, plus one. If your family, loves eggs a ton, you can do more than that. And then I just added about a 1/4 cup of water. The exact amount isn't too big of a deal, just something to thin it down a little bit so it doesn't burn. And then you whisk. Now these are good and cooked.
They look really good.
So we set that aside. We got the eggs here.
Pepper.
Just a little bit.
Good. I don't like lots of pepper.
A little bit of sea salt. Turning the heat down a little bit. Good idea to add a little bit of butter. And here we go.
Woo! You shocked the pan. Look at all those
quickly.
Bubbles.
Go back and forth.
Hey, they're starting to form already.
Yep. That's why you work quickly and you go back and forth. And you get these nice curds. That's it. Turn the heat off. They're perfect. Dump all this back on the pan here to keep everything warm. Here is our meat and potato and egg. The kids say this is making them hungry. So hopefully that looks good to everyone's satisfaction. Opening a new batch of salsa from last year's batch, that is.
Actually, we made it ourselves.
Yep. I'll do a video on that, but roasted seasonings in there.
Mmm, smells good.
Heat up some tortillas in the microwave. You need to make sure you heat these up. Here we go. Put some toppings on here. Something there.
That egg looks browned on one side, which is good. It's not going to be too goopy or too crunchy.
Now some cheese on this guy.
Or yogurt.
Instead of sour cream, we usually just use yogurt because we buy like huge amounts of it. Now would be a good time to put on some salsa. The girls don't like all that seasoning, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. And so here's how you fold a burrito. Tuck in the two ends there, and then make one big fold up.
Wave.
And then kind of tuck that down and roll it over. And then I like to kind of pat it down so it's nice and even. So there you go. Egg. Ooh. Maybe a little more of that.
Yeah, cheese is good. Super good.
You don't have to put on like sour cream or anything like that, but I like to. We've got some of these little tomatoes. That's all we have ripe right now, so.
They are so good.
These are the sweetest. They taste like a cross between a tomato and an orange.
And they are orange colored too.
Yeah, which is appropriate.
Ooh, salsa.
Some salsa.
Yeah, that looks good.
This is Daddy's here. Tuck in the sides. And then do a big tuck there, and then
a big
roll
away.
And kind of pat it down to even it all out. And there you go.
And a little more cheese. Egg's healthy for you, you know.
Sriracha.
Hot sauce.
And we'll add a little bit of sour cream there to balance it out. Maybe a little bit of salsa too. This is pretty spicy salsa too, but and then all tucked in. And there you have it. I'd call it kind of a southwestern breakfast burrito. You know, if you want to get really a little more authentic, then you're gonna want to get some chorizo. That's you know, the Mexican pork sausage with the spice, and that stuff is like the bomb. That's the best. But this is a great way. If you don't have that, you can just use some leftovers and make a nice breakfast burrito out of that. What do you think?
Not good.
What do you think?
I like it.
Okay.
It's really good, especially when you're really, really hungry. We need to check for it.